I have one more question regarding the strategies in the test processes. So now it called verification process. So in Aspice 4.0, now the strategy is moved from best practice 1 to generic practice 1.1. So how this would be impacted in terms of doing as well as assessing perspective?
Okay. So in my perspective, I think okay. First, maybe let's talk about the doing perspective for the project team. So generally for the project, at least level twos till level two is followed. So it's not like maybe now team don't have to do or define the test strategy and so on. That is mostly not the case. So team has to still do that. Uh, but yeah, now like for the assessment perspective, it might be different. That like previously, if there was some shortcomings in the strategy, then that was affecting many other best practices. Like if strategy is not right, and that can lead to downrating of many other best practices, maybe, which was affecting overall rating of any particular process. I think that could be now reduced. That like the level one is not affected by the strategy. So whatever we are doing, that is not affected by shortcoming in the strategy, and maybe level two is only affected by that. So yeah, that's my perspective about this.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean that is the right understanding, because earlier, if because BP1 is a strategy, if strategy is downrated, then it would affect everything else, the BP2 and so on. Now BP1 is removed and it's been moved as a first generic practice. Having said that, there is a twist. The twist is, earlier only the verification processes or the test processes needed a strategy. Now, since it has been moved to a generic practice, now every process requires a strategy, because it's 2.1.1. So you have to define the objective and strategy. So that is one big difference, which means, okay, it doesn't affect your level one, but now even the project management requires a strategy. Your software requirements requires a strategy, which means again, there are certain points given where you have to write entry criteria, exit criteria, some generic points are given. So it is, in my opinion, a bit more work, because now you have to define strategy for every process. Point number one. The point number two is, now this strategy is not that clearly defined. What has to be covered? Because if you see the VDA guideline, the earlier VDA guideline, there were very clear instruction with respect to the testing strategy, what has to be covered. Like, how are you selecting your test cases? Um, what kind of a test environment you are going to use? And if at all some of the informations are not captured, then you had to downrate. But now, since it's been moved to the generic practices, it is covered, the points have been given very generic, so that every process can be covered in that. So it is not that clear. Like, there are a couple of things I have seen, like entry criteria, exit criteria, but it doesn't really say that, okay, these points has to be covered if it is a test strategy. These points has to be covered if it is a development related strategy. No, there is no such difference. So it is bit more work and less clarity, in my opinion. So because of this change.